Welcome to The Author's Journey with #1 international best-selling author and in-demand publisher, Rebecca Hall Greider. Today, we'll showcase the works of an amazing best-selling author, find out the story behind their book, and explore ways to bring your message powerfully forward. Now, here's your host, Rebecca Hall Greider.
Welcome, everyone. I'm excited to be joining you today on the author's journey, where we lean in and have candid conversations with best-selling authors. These are amazing experts and leaders that are bringing their books, their information, their expertise to the world, and they're stopping by to spend some time with us so we can see what some of that journey has been like, what they have learned, and all that they are up to. So you get to have a candid conversation experience with amazing transformational leaders and authors. So I'm excited to have you joining us today. And as we connect in, I want to encourage you to choose to be fully present. It's so easy to be half listening sometimes, or we're just kind of there in body, but not in spirit. I want to encourage you to really open up your mind, heart, and spirit, deliberately, purposely connecting in so you can receive everything that is here for you. We have amazing leaders, and I know they are here to come together and pour into you. So be open, available, ready to receive. And to do that, to support that, I'm going to encourage you to take a moment to slow down. We're so used to going faster and faster, but let's slow down and take a breath. In through our nose, out through our mouth. Beautiful. Sometimes just taking that breath, a moment to catch up with ourselves, makes all the difference. Suddenly we start to be able to hear and connect in more fully and receive more fully. So in this space, as you are breathing and connecting in, I want you to take a moment and feel in with curiosity and see, what is it that you need today? What would you love to learn from an amazing, transformational, best-selling author, wonderful expert that is coming alongside you to pour into you? What would you love to know today? What would encourage you? What would support you? In fact, let's take a moment and close our eyes and really feel into that. As you take another breath, what is it that you would love to know that would support you on your journey? If you were physically in the room together today, meeting this amazing best-selling author, what would you like to know? What is it that would support you? And feel into that and see. Wonderful. Okay, go ahead. Let's come back into the room. Eyes open. Beautiful. And take a moment as you become fully present to write down your thoughts, what it is that you're curious about, what you would love to learn from our amazing author today. What is it that would support you on your journey? And put those thoughts on the top of the page. Write those down. Let's keep them top of mind. Our intention is to support you today, to bring our amazing experts' expertise and wisdom and insight and candid sharing to you today. And our intention is to answer those questions, to feel into that, to be able to support you. But here's the deal. If you have additional questions, additional things you would like to know, we're going to let you know how to connect with this amazing expert towards the end of the show. So really take note of those things you want to know, that you would love to pick their brain about, what you would love to learn more about, and write those down. And then we'll let you know how to connect with them directly so that you can take that conversation to a deeper level. Great. And then I'd love to connect with our amazing expert. So Justin, I'd love for you to take a moment, and as we just slow down for a moment and took a breath together and catch up with ourselves a little bit, and we're leaning into the conversation. I'm excited to have you joining us today. Is there something on your heart, your mind, your spirit that you would like to share with our listeners today?
Well, Rebecca, it's always great talking to you. I really appreciate this. I almost fell asleep during that intro in a good way. I'm a very, very high D on disc, so it's very hard for me to slow down. So it's nice to relax there. Very thankful for my sons, my sons who are in second and first grade, who are in school now, and adapting like we all are. And my foundation is my wife and my children. So just very thankful to watch them grow and blossom, and thankful for everything in my life.
Beautiful. I love that thankfulness and leaning in. And I'm glad you got a little moment of rest.
Very brief.
So we'll capitalize on that during our conversation. That's great. And I wanted to take a moment to more formally introduce you, just so those who didn't get a chance to read your bio or you're new to, they have a little bit of a context around you. So Justin Breen is the CEO of a PR firm, Brepic Communications. His first book, Epic Business, launched in May. It became a #1 international best-selling book, reaching best-selling status in 6 countries and 33 categories. Brepic is a PR firm that writes compelling and newsworthy stories for clients and pitches them to the media around the world. Clients have included Allstate, Morgan Stanley, the University of Illinois, Salvation Army, national IT firms, financial planners, physicians, schools, and universities. And this is just to name a few. He is passionate about helping you create compelling stories that the media wants, that people will get behind and get excited about and read, so you can increase your visibility and reach more people around the world. His book, Epic Business, details how he founded Brepic and turned it into a public relations powerhouse, working with amazing visionary clients around the world. It reveals 30 secrets he learned from some of the world's top entrepreneurs and how he applied them to build his company to what it's become today. So with that, I want to officially welcome you, Justin Breen, to the show. Welcome.
Hello. I always like that because you're so excited. You go from very calm to very excited very quickly, and it's good. That's more of my energy. So yes, I am very pumped to be here.
Wonderful. I am thrilled to have you joining us and excited we could bring that full range for you. So welcome.
Well done.
Thank you. But I am excited and really just thrilled at all that you're doing and all that the lives your book has been touching, and that you're able to spend some time with us today. So my first question is, why did you decide to write this book? Why did you decide to bring Epic Business forward?
Well, I'm glad you asked that, because there was absolutely zero intent to write this book. But what happened is, for my company's 30-month anniversary, which was October 16th, 2019, I posted a list of 30 incredible things that I had learned from some of the world's top entrepreneurs and how I applied them into building my company, Brepic, in the company's first 30 months. And at the time, I had like 36,000 followers on social media. And basically, people saw that list and they're like, you have to write a book on this. They were printing out the list and bringing it to meetings. Like, wow. Okay. So I'm a high quick start and high follow through, and I'm a professional journalist by trade. So I'm just like, okay, I'll just write the book. There you go.
I love that. And how long did it take you to move? Because I know you move into action very quickly, high energy from, we want this from you and we're using this, you need to write a book, to taking action and writing it and bringing it forward. What was that timeline like?
I wrote the book in 43 days. So it takes me longer to read my book than to, I don't have dyslexia or anything like that, but I'm a very slow reader, so it takes me longer to read my book than it does to write it, which I'm guessing is the opposite of basically everyone else on the planet. So.
I love that. I love that you were able to bring it forward so quickly. And it is such a powerful read. It's very efficient. One of the things I always think about with you and your writing style is you're able to bring such powerful information forward very succinctly, and you never waste a word. It's very powerful, it's easy to read, and it's very impactful, everything that I've read that you have ever written. And I appreciate that about you and your style.
Less is more. So, the number one reason why my company's been a global successful company in a little over 3 years is I'm very direct. It weeds out all nonsense and only attracts the best mindsets, the best companies, the best people, and it's just a giant incubator of geniuses around the world. That's what my company really is. And the book is an exact representation of how I think, how I am, how I write. And it's very direct, and it's like boom, 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 boom. And it gets the point across. And as you said during the intro, it's really changed people's lives. And it's been exciting to help people like that.
So I have a question, because you mentioned in the beginning that you weren't necessarily intending to write a book, but responded to how people had received your information in that list that you put together. When you did decide to write the book, did you have an intention with that, like a vision of what you wanted to do for people and do for yourself and your business?
No, I knew that it was valuable information and that it would help people. It's certainly been one of the best investments I've ever made in my business. And this background, I only look at things as investments, not cost. Someone who looks at things as cost in a transactional way, it's not a good fit for how I think. And, the people in my network, they're all abundance investment mindset people. So I knew it would be a good investment. It's been even a better investment than I thought it would be, and it just continues to build momentum. And frankly, I don't ever see it not building momentum, because it's a good message, and it's helping people, and it's leading to speaking engagements and media opportunities. And it just, like I said, it just builds and builds and builds, and it's only the beginning of how it'll help people.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I love that. And so for any of our listeners out there that people have said you should write a book and this information is really valuable, you don't always have to have it all figured out. So I like that. You were committed. I'm going to bring this book forward. I'm going to share this valuable information, but you didn't necessarily have all the ways that you knew it would serve. You knew that it would make a difference. It was a good investment, and that was enough to bring it forward. Is that accurate? Well,
right. And again, it's like, that was a blue jay, by the way. I'm in my backyard, but it's about looking. There's two ways of looking at life. So most people, cost, scarcity, panic mindset. Especially since COVID. But the people in my network on a global level, it's the opposite of that. This has turned into one of the greatest opportunities ever to create new businesses or leverage your network in ways never before imaginable, because there are so many virtual opportunities. And, how I built my company is like, I just look at things as investments. So whether it's joining groups like Strategic Coach or Entrepreneurs Organization, which I believe you're a part of now as well, it's like when you find the right people, then all these people look at things as investments. So it weeds out all the nonsense, all the noise, and just focuses on my tribe. So that's what the book is too. It's just appealing to my tribe.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. And I think that's something that's really important for all of us to remember. Those things that we're investing in, those things that we're bringing forward, is that serving your tribe? Is that in alignment with that? And are we remembering to weed out all of the noise? Because sometimes we get very caught up and distracted in it. We are getting ready to go to our first commercial break. And as we do that, I want you to think about some of the things that Justin has shared. And when we come back, we're going to dig into some of the content in the book and what his journey has been like in a deeper level. We'll look forward to talking to you in just 2 minutes.
Get the news on our shows and other happenings by following us on Twitter. Find us at VoiceAmericaTRN or twitter.com/VoiceAmericaTRN.
Join Rebecca Hall-Greider every week for her new podcast, The Author's Journey. Spend some time getting to know best-selling expert authors, discuss and listen to their journey, and find out what works for them and what hasn't. If you're an aspiring author, you'll want to hear their amazing tips that help you in your own author's journey. Each program helps you discover your own gifts and bring them and your message forward. The Author's Journey. Listen for new episodes on the Voice America Variety Channel.
Be sure to friend us on Facebook. You can do it right now. Visit facebook.com/Voice America or search for us at keyword Voice America.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes and had an opportunity to look back at your notes from the beginning of some of the things you were wanting to learn and discover about Justin's journey and his amazing area of expertise. And so I want you to keep those top of mind throughout our conversation. So as we are adding information and insight around those areas you were wanting to learn more, you're catching that, you're paying attention to that, you're taking that in. And if there's even more that you want to discover or learn, we're going to let you know how you can connect in with Justin towards the end of the show. So stay connected. Thrilled to have you joining us. And we were just sharing as we went to the break about the importance of serving your tribe and connecting in with them and really building things and investing versus being so focused on cost, but looking how to invest and weed out the noise, really have a focus, a purpose, and move consistently forward in that. So really powerful information, great for all of us to check in and remember, because sometimes we are like, yeah, I know that, but I want to stop for a moment. Are we doing that? Are we taking the information we know or the information we're learning and applying it? Are we remembering to filter out that noise, to stay on purpose with the things that we're building? So I wanted to go back to the launch of your book, Justin, because I know you were bringing that forward and sharing it with people. It's been really, really well received. I've seen some of your reviews. They're amazing. And I'm curious, as you were launching the book and it started to be received, were there things that surprised you in that you wish you would have known or were able to leverage powerfully as they came along? I just love to pull back the curtain there and learn a little bit of what that was like for you.
So I have a pretty weird, unique brain. So I think differently than most people. And so, people have constantly told me, you kind of mentioned it a little bit here, but even when someone posts a negative review, there's currently one negative review, which is fine. It's kind of funny, but so whenever anyone posts a review, I'll screen grab it and then share it to my 40,000 plus followers on social media, and then tag a link to the book or whatever. And everyone always tells me no one else does that. I'm like, well, why wouldn't you do that? Keeps the momentum going. And so as a background with that, launch day, that was great. It was fine, but that's just barely the tip of the iceberg. It's more of a long play that just keeps building and building. I know there's a lot of preparation for, getting the book done and then preparing for launch and, building momentum for it. But really the real joy and real productivity and real results happen the book launched in May. It's October. So, and it's barely the beginning of how it's going to continue to build momentum. So it's more of spending the time after the book launches, how important that is, as opposed to book launched, okay, now I'll let it go. It's the exact opposite. Book launch, now it really begins.
Great. Thank you for sharing that, because I think a lot of people think the opposite. They think all the build a momentum leads up to the launch and that's the end, and then it just should coast. And that's the launching part. It's the launch. It continues to fly.
Right.
But you have to keep
spaceship
building.
goes up and then it does stuff. Mm-hmm. So.
And can you give us a feel of how many hours a week or the kind of commitment it takes, because there's consistency in that too, to keep it building and keep that momentum going?
Sure. So I do exactly 0 hours of work every single week, meaning I'm constantly in my unique ability, meaning I do what I like to do and what I'm good at, so none of this is work.
Mm-hmm.
And
Fair
that
enough,
said, right, so I do still every week between 3 and 5 media interviews, and it'll keep going. 3 and 5 media interviews for the book, or checking in on whether someone posted a review or something like that. So each one of those interviews is between 30 minutes and an hour. So, 3 to 5 hours every week. But again, it's within my unique ability space. It's not really work for me, but in terms of promoting the book or getting the word out there or talking to people about it or putting things on social media or keeping track of it, yeah, certainly, it's certainly a good deal of time, but it's time, again, well invested. It's a good use of your time because it builds your brand and gets your word out there, and whether it's social media or in person or however you do it.
Perfect. And doing these different interviews that you're doing, I know that you mentioned you're posting the reviews and tagging the person who wrote the review, those kinds of things out in media. With the programs and the shows, are you also sharing that out as well? I'm just trying to give a little bit of a map to people who are looking at this, and this might be new to them.
Yep. So here's been the most interesting thing from my perspective in this whole process, because I have a PR firm. So what my company gets paid for is to get clients in mainstream media or podcasts around the world. And it's very successful at that. Now I'm actually personally going through that process, which has been unbelievable for multiple reasons. One, it's incredibly good for my business and brand.
Yep.
2, I have learned the power of podcasts and how they're not essentially replacing mainstream media, but they are almost as important, if not more important than being in Forbes or being in the Wall Street Journal or being on TV. The audience of podcasts are more of the higher level thinkers and visionary entrepreneurs that are my tribe. Usually the host, like you, is a high-level entrepreneur who happens to be a podcast host as well. And then 3, you can do a deeper dive in these type of podcasts than, a drive-by type interview on radio or TV or the newspaper or whatever. So podcasts, it's been incredible to see the value of that. And then 3, it's been huge for my clients because I do a good job on these interviews or whatever, and then the hosts are like, you work with people like you? We want to interview them. And so then their businesses and brands get highlighted by being on interviews. So it's just like everybody wins. Media outlet wins, I win, my clients win. So it's just really fun to run a PR firm, but then also be doing PR for myself, and then seeing how that evolves and grows and helps everyone.
Beautiful. I love that. And thank you for sharing what you've discovered and learned about podcasts and that space and that world. I think that's really, really valuable information. And is there a favorite moment from the idea of bringing the book forward to today that just kind of sticks in your heart and spirit, that favorite moment so far?
The favorite moment since the book launched. Is that what you're asking?
Oh, since you decided to bring the book forward. So I know that covers a lot of...
Number one, wow. Oh, my God. This is a favorite moment that's really a series of moments. Probably once every day I get a text message or an email or a LinkedIn message from people thanking me for writing it. And that's the real value of it. Like, me personally, like, I'm one of those weird entrepreneurs that doesn't care about revenue or office size or having employees. Like, I just care about, like, 10xing my network on a global level and then 10xing my experiences in life with my family. So, like, I didn't write this book to make money. I don't really care about that. What it has led to is just all these, media opportunities and speaking opportunities, which has resulted in huge contracts. But it's more of like, people are like, oh my God, this is how business should be. This is the way to look at life. This has helped me figure out how my business should run. This has helped me figure out priorities. This has helped me figure out how to think more entrepreneurial, or how to look at things only as investments, not costs, like we talked about earlier. So it's the lessons in there. I mean, you want to look at it revenue-wise, there's billions of dollars worth of advice in there. And it's, a lot of people write books or whatever, and, there was a real intention to make this something very big that helps a lot of people, and that's what it's doing.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. And I love to know that is one of your favorite things of what has happened in the journey and the process. And I love that it continues to have this ongoing impact. Well, we are getting ready to go to our next commercial break. And as we do that, I'd love for you to share where people can get your book. So in case our listeners haven't gotten your book yet, what are the different formats? Where can they get it?
Pretty much anywhere. Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble. I think it's still in Target. Hopefully in Walmart soon. Audible. So, yeah, just look up Epic Business and my name, Justin Breen. You'll be able to find it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And as we go to our next commercial break, listeners, I want you to really think about those of you who perhaps are on your own author's journey, or you're looking to connect with amazing expertise like Justin has. Look back at your questions again and see what insights you have, where you want to take things deeper, and what has been so impactful in the conversation so far. We'll look forward to continuing our conversation in just 2 minutes.
We're making it easier to listen to the Voice America Talk Radio Network live wherever you go on iPhone, BlackBerry, or Android. Download it from the Apple iTunes App Store, BlackBerry App World, or Android Market.
Join Rebecca Hall-Greider every week for her new podcast, The Author's Journey. Spend some time getting to know best-selling expert authors, discuss and listen to their journey, and find out what works for them and what hasn't. If you're an aspiring author, you'll want to hear their amazing tips that help you in your own author's journey. Each program helps you discover your own gifts and bring them and your message forward. The Author's Journey. Listen for new episodes on the Voice America Variety Channel.
Get the news on our shows and other happenings by following us on Twitter. Find us at VoiceAmericaTRN or twitter.com/VoiceAmericaTRN.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes. You got an opportunity to reflect back on all that Justin has been sharing and look back at some of those things you're wanting to learn. And behind the scenes, I always check in with our authors and see, is there something additionally that you want to bring forward that is on your heart to share with our listeners when you think about your book and the content and some of what you have discovered. And Justin had something on his heart that he really wanted to share with you too, that we wanted to make sure we brought forward. And so, Justin, I want to hand the floor over to you and open up the conversation about the entrepreneurial life. And sometimes we think it's going to be a certain way and we can run into challenges. So would you talk about that and share a little bit about your perspective on that?
Yeah, I think a great value to the book is that it's, like me, it's no nonsense, no BS. It's very direct. And, one of the chapters in there is if you're having a bad week or month, to talk to someone about it. And entrepreneurs, the hardest day of corporate it's just nothing compared to what you'll go through if you become an entrepreneur. I mean, I've interviewed and talked with tens of thousands of some of the best entrepreneurs in the whole world, and none of them have, it hasn't been easy for any of them. And so most entrepreneurs, you're almost certainly going to go through one of the following things: depression, bankruptcy, horrible levels of stress, attention deficit, traumatic experience as a child or something. Like, to be an entrepreneur, you have to be wired a little differently than most people. And it's really good to have a good network of, whether it's a therapist or close family or mentors, just to be able to talk to people at a different level so you can talk about what you're going through, because entrepreneurial life can be very, very lonely, and there's a narrative out there that it's glorified and there's sunshine and rainbows, and it's not like that. Starting a business from nothing is probably the hardest thing most people will ever do in their lives. And if you can't handle some of the aforementioned things I just discussed, then you're probably not meant to be an entrepreneur. So all that said, when you get through all that and you do talk to either a therapist or your mentors or your family or spouse or whatever it is, you kind of get to a place where I'm at now, where you're just enjoying your life, and you're making as much money as you want to, and you're working with the people that you want to, and you do what you like to do and what you're good at, and you just enjoy your life. But to get to that point, you kind of, I mean, maybe there is an exception out there. I doubt it, but you kind of have to go through this journey, and talking to people about it and getting help if you need it is so important. So I'm glad you asked that, because it's just something that, again, it's just not talked about that much, and I think it really needs to be.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, because it is very true. It is a journey, and there are some really challenging, scary, stretching, frustrating, hard moments. I think it's not a solo journey. We need to have people that come alongside us, that support us, and that we can share openly and candidly with. Absolutely. I really appreciate you bringing that up and sharing, because you're right. It's not talked about enough, and it is part of the journey. But it isn't the ending of the journey, and
right.
That we can, pursue and persevere through that. But we have to be willing to persevere and learn and grow. Anything else you'd like to add to that?
That I think so many entrepreneurs try to be everything to everyone. And I'm the exact opposite of that. And that's why my company's been successful. And that's why I'm really enjoying my life, that my company does one thing at a crazy high genius level for a certain type of person who meshes with my brain. And when you find those people, like the way I talk during these interviews or speeches or whatever, it's a magnet. It's a magnet for the right people, the right mindset for me, and then it actively repels everyone else. And so I'm not here to help everyone. I'm here to find my tribe and the right people. And what I found is people with this type of mindset, they're one of two types of people. One, they're running some of the most successful businesses on earth, and they're really enjoying their lives with their families. So that's one type. And then two, they're on their way to being one of those types of people because they have the right mindset. So finding your tribe, weeding out the wrong fit for you, and doing what you like to do and what you're good at, and you really will discover true happiness. And that's really what the book is about, is like finding things that make you happy. Not necessarily about the money. It's about finding happiness and joy in your life.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And I want to let listeners know how they can connect with you on a deeper level. So anyone that is feeling that magnet, they're feeling that pull to connect in, go deeper, learn more. How do they do that? What's the best way for them to connect in with you?
Yeah, so most people drop their websites during this time. I'm the outlier of outliers, so got over 40,000 followers on social media, and the best way really to connect with me is just looking up Justin Breen on LinkedIn and connecting with me there. I essentially use LinkedIn as a commercial for other people, and it's led to endless synergies and huge contracts and just a lot of global connectivity. So Justin Breen on LinkedIn, and that is what will happen after this, is that the right people will hear this, and they'll be like, hey, I heard this, and I knew I had to talk to you. And again, those people are the ones that are just dominating in business and in life for sure.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And also, do you have anything exciting, new updates? We heard it here kind of news that you would like to share. I always love to know what's going on, what's next, those types of things.
Yeah, so a good part of my day is talking to visionaries around the world, and I'm like a sponge, and then I can just connect them with other people all over the world. I don't write anything down; it's just in my head. But it's probably my number one superpower. So one of those visionaries, a guy from New Zealand, he lives in Hollywood now, and he just happens to be a co-creator and actor on this Hollywood show. So I'm in the process of being an actor on that show. So it's like, this is what happens when you talk to great people all the time. Just find your tribe, and then some of them happen to be creators and actors on Hollywood shows. So when you put yourself out there and you're very direct and talk to the people you want to talk to, these are the opportunities that happen. So if you had told me I'd be on a Hollywood TV show when I first started my company or first wrote this book, I would have laughed. But it's just a byproduct of doing things the way you want to do them and finding the people you want to talk to.
Well, congratulations. That's exciting.
Thanks. I got to get my SAG card. If there is a listener out there who knows about getting a SAG card, that is funny, but I'm actually being serious about that. So.
Beautiful. I love it. So listeners, he would love to connect in with you. If you can help him with that, that would be fabulous. And Justin, you are an amazing connector, and you are so generous in your connections. That I do agree that is one of your superpowers, that when you connect with somebody, there's always a follow-up. There's always some amazing introductions or next connections that you make for people. I mean, you really do that in such a powerful way. And I want to encourage our listeners, anyone who's feeling a pull, connect in. The way Justin is showing up on the show today, this is Justin. So
this is me 24/7. So even with my 2 young sons, by the way, we don't, like, my 7-year-old's an entrepreneur, the 6-year-old wants to be a Navy SEAL. So there's no cartoons in my house. This is basically how I am all the time.
Well, and I love it because we're getting to connect with you. And listeners, he's opened up the opportunity to connect in with him on social media, LinkedIn, Justin Breen. I encourage you to do that. It will be an impactful conversation, and who knows all of where it can lead. Justin, thank you so much for joining us today, sharing with us. Congratulations on all of your successes, and thank you for carving out time to spend with us today.
Only the beginning of greatness, Rebecca. Only the beginning.
And I want to say epic in return. I love it.
Good job.
Yep. And listeners, thank you so much for joining us. And I want to encourage you and support you on your journey. I hope that this program has supported you, stretched you, helped you look at things from a little bit different perspective as you are looking at your own journey, that you can step forward and bring your brilliance to the world. We'll look forward to talking to you next time.
Thank you for tuning in to The Author's Journey. Please join Rebecca Hall-Gruyter for another edition of the Author's Journey podcast every Monday on the Voice America Variety Channel. And until we talk again, use some of the tips and inspiration from today's show to guide you as you lean in to bringing your message forward.